Hey guys, it's Heather and Shelby. We are just hopping on so people can kind of get on, and we'll start at 7 o'clock. So we got like 4 minutes and we'll just let people get on. And if you have questions that you want us to answer right away, put them in the comments and we will go through them at the end. So, yeah.
We'll give you kind of, while we're waiting, we'll give you a history or a little bit about ourselves so you know who we are, where we're coming from. My name is Heather Schuster. I was born and raised in Dubuque, Iowa. I've been a master seamstress for over 25 years. I specialize in bridal. I actually used to own my own bridal shop. I was a wedding and special events coordinator. So weddings and everything wedding is pretty much all I've done most of my adult life. Before that, I was a special education teacher. So I'm really good at explaining things and breaking things down for my clients. I run my business out of my home. I live in Dyersville. I have a really nice studio, which is where we're coming to live from tonight.
Yeah, it's great. She just moved, so she was in Epworth and now she's in Dyersville, and this is like so much better than her other studio.
It's really big and it's bright and it's wonderful. So if you haven't come out to see me, come out and see me. I look forward to meeting you and helping you with your wedding.
And for those of you that are new to the page or new to the video, I am Shelby Duggan. I am the owner of Vintage Chic Bridal Boutique. I am a one-woman show, so I am the only one that takes appointments, and I'm the one you talk to and email and phone message and everything. So I grew up in Dubuque, Iowa, and I haven't moved since. Live right up the hill from my bridal shop, so I'm always can be down there whenever you need me. The shop is by appointment only. And I do have a sale coming up for the entire month of February. So if you want to make an appointment for that, several weekends are booked already, but I can let you know what times are still available when you request an appointment. So
Shelby works off appointment and I do as well. So if you need to set up an appointment for a wedding gown or mother's dress or bridesmaids dresses or really anything that needs to be tailored or altered or changed, shoot me a text message or give me a call. I'd be happy to set up those appointments. I work on appointments during the day or in the evening, so I try to be as flexible as I can. Since I run my studio out of my house, I have a lot of leeway with things. So do appointments well into the evening as well, so can accommodate all kinds of schedules, just like Shelby can kind of accommodate schedules on what you need as well.
Yeah. Are we pretty close to time?
Yeah, I think we're about the big clock behind us. I feel like Mr. Rogers, the big clock behind us says it's time to start.
So I think we can go ahead and get started. Like I said, if you have any questions, put them in the comments, and we will get to them at the end because I can't see them because the camera's far away. So first things, I have kind of like a little thing here that I'm reading off of. First things, let's take a cheers.
Cheers.
Hopefully everybody has a drink.
Cheers. Yeah.
All right. So let's get started. So let's go over basic alterations first. So this is all about wedding dress sample sales, like what you should expect going into a wedding dress sample sale. It's a little bit different than going for a normal bridal appointment when you're just looking at off the rack stuff. So that's kind of what today is geared towards. But we want to go over basic alterations first because that's like what you can expect, like alterations as a cost just for the basic stuff. And then as we go through the stuff that kind of applies more to the off the rack stuff, that's an additional cost. So what are some basic alterations?
Yeah, some basic alterations that you're going to run into no matter what dress, whether you're buying off the rack or you're ordering. Some alterations that are really standard are taking in and or letting out sides, adjusting your straps or your shoulders of your dress, a hem, making it shorter, as well as bustles. Wedding gowns today don't come with bustles put in.
Yeah.
If the bustles are in the dress, there's usually like one or two. They're highly ineffective. They're not really placed very well, and they're not very strong that they're going to endure your dancing for the whole night through, especially if you only have one or two pickup points. And that dress is heavy, and it's a long train, and you really want that to lay nicely and look beautiful. Bustles are my favorite thing to do because it's the creative outlet that I get to do. And your dress needs to look just as good, if not better, bustled up at the end of the evening throughout your dance as it does going down the aisle. People see your dress the longest at your reception. So make sure your bustles look really good. And when you're at your consult appointment, again, buying your dress off the rack at a sample sale or buying ordering from the store that you're going to, ask to see what bustle options there are, and if your store doesn't know, or they don't have somebody on staff that can show you some options or ideas, definitely, bring it up to your seamstress. And if you don't have a seamstress already, ask around ahead of time before you shop, because it is really important to know what you're going to do with that dress once you get it. You've invested a lot of money. You want to make sure it's well taken care of.
And that's kind of another point that Heather brought up. I mean, I only refer out to Heather. I've seen her, I've sat and watched her do alterations. I see the way she interacts with her appointments, and she's very knowledgeable. Like, I can stand behind her work and say that she's amazing.
Thanks, Shelby.
Yeah. So, but if you have somebody that, if you're using somebody else for alterations, some bridal shops don't have like a specific seamstress that they refer out to, and most bridal shops anymore do not have in-house alterations. You have to go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So kind of start looking for that even before you go in to buy your wedding dress, because especially when you're going into a sample sale, it's good to have somebody that you can reach out to say, okay, they're saying they can do this, this, and this in alterations. Like, is this even doable, and how much is it going to cost me? Because that's a big thing, is the cost. I mean, you're shopping a sample sale, so you're looking at dresses that are like 500 or under 1,000, and it's great, and they're telling you that, this can be done, and this can be done, and this can be done, and then you take it to alterations, and number one, either it can't be done, or number two, it's going to cost you more than the dress you bought to get it done in alterations. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you're doing that. But yeah, always reach out. Heather is great. She texts, and you can text her, like, if you're in an appointment, just say, this is what they're telling me, like, I need some feedback. Like, she's great. She does awesome with that. And I do that in appointments. If there's something that I'm not sure about, I always text Heather, and I'll send her pictures and say, what do you think about this? What do you think for a price? And go from there. She can't give you an exact price by looking at a picture, but she'll give you a good range. So
yeah. Pretty good about being able to give a good range of prices. And again, once you work with your seamstress hand in hand, that price may vary or change. And also keep in mind that if you fluctuate or change, maybe we've already taken in the sides, and you work really, really hard, and you're eating really, really healthy and not drinking a whole lot, and you drop some weight, and now all of a sudden we've taken in your dress, but now it's bigger, but you've come and told me at one appointment it was perfect, and now it's the week before the wedding, and you've dropped some weight, and now it's too big. Unfortunately, a lot of times your seamstress is going to have to charge you a second time to take it in. So it is important also to time your alterations correctly. 3 to 4 months, even 4 to 6 months is okay. You know your body the best, and you know if you fluctuate or not. So just keep that in mind when you are, thinking about when to start alterations. The other point with that is when you're talking about sizing.
Yeah.
This is a great lead into sizing. Bridal sizing isn't the same.
No.
As your streetwear.
Right. Bridal sizing, you're typically, that's why in my questionnaire I ask what your jean size is, because typically your jean size or your normal dress size, you're 2 sizes higher in bridal. And it's based on a European system. Most designers are European, and that's where the sizing comes into play. But don't get discouraged by that number. It is just a number on a tag, so we know like what dresses to try on. The other thing with bridal size as well is size chart for a designer fluctuates from designer to designer. It's not like there's a master key of bridal sizing based on your measurements. Every designer has a different measurement system and different sizes. So you might be a 14 in one and a 16 in another and a 12 in another. It's just, you would think it'd be all universal by now, but it's not. So.
They're designed by men. Let's just put that out there. They're typically designed by men, and they don't always think that far ahead and understand that the number to a lot of people is a big deal. But when you're looking at dresses, don't get stuck in your head, I can only try on a 12, or I can only try on a 6, or look and try on sizes 1 to 2 sizes bigger, 1 to 2 sizes smaller when you're trying on dresses. Yeah. Now, I will say, most every dress can be taken in. Not every dress can be let out.
Yeah.
So you do have to have some understanding of what you're looking at when you're in there at that sample sale. So you're trying on a dress and it's really big. I have a lot of girls that reach out to me and send me pictures or FaceTime me and be like, hey, I'm looking at this dress. Can this be taken in? In a perfect world, dresses can be taken down 1 to 2 sizes with general ease and pretty standard alterations. It doesn't require a whole lot of extra that goes into it to custom fit that down to you. 1 to 2 sizes is in a perfect world what we can take a dress down. Have I taken them down more than that? Absolutely. But do you understand that when you're taking it down more than 1 to 2 dress sizes, a couple things might happen. A, it may not be able to be done, unfortunately. B, you may have a higher cost in alterations because we're not only just taking in sides. At that point, we might have to take in a zipper. We may have to take in darts. We may have to take it in other places than just those side seams. So do understand that if you're trying to make that dress a lot smaller than 1 to 2 dress sizes, you may have a higher accrued alteration bill associated with that. So
Right.
You're getting that dress at a really good price, but do your alterations outweigh the means that you're already saving?
So just to kind of simplify that, so you're a street size 10, and so you're most likely a bridal size 14. We would recommend not going any higher than a size 18. So, and like I said, it varies based on designer, but if let's say you've gone to a sample sale, and usually they'll have like a couple of different designers that they have samples of, and you've tried that designer on and you know that you fit in a 14 and it's a 22, know that that is most likely either 1, should not be done, or number 2, you have to mess with things besides the side seams, so you're accruing more of a cost in alterations. Darts are the seams that come right in front of the breasts here. So that's taking that in as well. And I mean, when you take in side seams, you're taking into account like if there's lace there, if it has to be like shaved off and then put back over, if there's beading there. So you have to imagine like that taking in on the sides and then taking that in on the darts and then maybe on the zipper. So that's why it's more of a cost.
If you're going a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then going smaller.
Unfortunately, buying a dress that's 1 or 2 sizes too small on you isn't always an optimal, I think, optimal opportunity or ideal situation. And there are some people who are really good at losing weight. I myself am a bride, and Shelby's a bride as well. And yeah, my fitness quest isn't going so fabulous to get down in those sizes. So I don't know if I've abandoned ship yet, but yeah, we're not far.
It's just a lot of pressure to put on yourself because wedding planning itself is stressful. Yeah. Everybody's different. Some people stress eat and some people don't eat at all when they're stressed. So definitely knowing.
Or they stress drink.
Yeah, or you're from Iowa and you like to have a drink every once in a while. But it's important to know that, so when you're having a dress that is smaller, there are a couple options, but you have to have knowledge of what can be taken out, because if their side seams are clipped and the seams are clipped, you cannot take it out.
Which means they've taken any of that extra fabric that is in there that I could have made the dress bigger with, and they cut that fabric down to the stitching. So I can't make it bigger because there's a cut in the fabric, so it doesn't allow itself to be let out. One way that we have gotten around that is we've put in a corset or lace up back into those dresses that maybe the zipper doesn't go up all the way. Now that works really, really great if you're talking about a structured, a dress that has a back that's structured.
Yeah.
There's so many dresses in today's bridal world that are those illusion backs or see-through backs that have all the beautiful lace and the beading and the detail and the buttons.
The bridal buttons.
The bridal buttons, which are beautiful, but you can't put a corset in that. It just, you're gonna see it, it doesn't work, it's not practical with that mesh netting on that illusion back. So one other way to kind of get around sometimes with things, say your dress zips up except at that bust line. Sometimes, if the back will allow, sometimes you can make that back a deeper V and make it go down farther to give you some extra room through the back if those side seams won't allow you to let it out, or maybe a combination of things. But again, maybe you love the detail that's on the back and it's not feasible to put a deep V.
Right.
Just be aware of what's possible and what's not possible with your dress. Mm-hmm. And again, if the bridal shop doesn't know or kind of wavers on it, keep in mind a lot of times at bridal shops, they're not seamstresses, and they might have a grand idea or think, oh yeah, this is simple, you can just do this.
Yeah.
Please reach out. Feel free. I would much prefer a phone call or text message, the pictures, a FaceTime call to really get you the right answer than have you bring it to me. Your heart is set on something, and for me to say, I'm sorry, that's not possible, because that breaks my heart just as much as it does yours.
Yeah. It's devastating when that happens. Yeah. I mean, I personally, I have asked Heather like questions multiple times, so I have a decent grasp on what can and can't be done in alterations, but I will always message her if there's something that I'm wavering on or have a question, but not all bridal shops do that. Yeah. Unfortunately, some bridal shops aren't keen on it, and I mean, you see it on Say Yes to the Dress all the time. Well, that can be done in alterations, and that can be done in alterations, but like make sure that whoever you're going to in your sample sale, because I know that people all over Iowa, Wisconsin, and Illinois are watching this, wherever you're going, like make sure that they have a good alterations background, or keep Heather in your back pocket or somebody that you trust with alterations that you can send them photos, because simply saying, oh yeah, like that can be done, like don't worry about that, like anything that's not those basic alterations that are normal really should be asked by somebody that has a semi idea of what they're doing.
And when you're talking about alterations or changes to a dress, and this is one thing Shelby brought up to me, I think is a great guideline. If you're trying on your dress and you're looking in the mirror and you want to change, not just any of my sides taken in or my straps pulled up. If you want to change more than 2 or 3 things about that dress, that dress is not for you.
It's not it.
If you're like, I like this dress, but I can fix little things like, I like this dress, but I wish it had a deeper back. I like this dress, but I wish it had extra lace here or there. I like this dress, but I wish it had a cap sleeve. Those are things, but if you have more than 2 or 3, I like this dress, but
it's just not it.
That's not it.
You need to keep looking. And I'll say that to people that even are at my shop. Like, I can tell that there's no point in putting somebody in a dress and then having, like, them be extremely disappointed in alterations. Because everybody's dress journey is so different. And I just can't describe it. It's like, almost like magic. And when you find your dress, you'll have some sort of feeling like, this is it, and then I'll change minor things. Like, if there's minor things, that's fine, but like Heather said, 2 to 3 major things outside of those basic alterations, the shoulders, side seams, hem, and bustle, like if it's anything outside of there and it's more than 2 or 3 things, it's not the dress.
Try a different one.
Try something else. I know that it's really tempting to buy a $500 dress or something that's under $1,000, like I have at my sample sale, and just say, oh, I can do this in alterations. You can do more than 2 to 3 things in alterations, but it's going to cost you a substantial amount, because what Heather does is pure magic. Like, it is like, your dress is like in several pieces and being messed with.
People don't want to be here while I do it.
Yeah, you don't want to watch it.
It's like surgery.
It's like dress massacre.
Yeah, it's dress surgery.
And she knows how to put it back together and make it the way it's supposed to. But yeah, so the more alterations, the more things that you're changing to the dress, especially outside of those basic alterations, the higher amount you are going to spend.
Yeah, and save yourself. I mean, why spend that much in alterations and not really have exactly what you want when you could have just looked maybe 1 or 2 places or called a couple other places and really found exactly what you're looking for.
And then need minimal alterations.
You need minimal. Absolutely.
I mean, alterations is not where you want to spend the bulk of your money. The bulk of the money should be spent on the dress and then lower amount on the alterations. You should not be... Which, if a dress is $500, like... You may spend more on alterations. You may spend on alterations, but those basic alterations, depending on the hem is the most expensive thing that you'll spend in your basic alterations. But yeah, I mean, just save yourself the headache, keep looking. Because it's like, okay, well, I bought a dress for $500 and they said they could do this, but now it's $900 in alterations. Well, you might as well have just bought the dress you wanted and then had minimal alterations done and saved yourself a lot of time. So
one of the main alterations that I get from people that they say, I like my dress, but one of the main things I get is changing a strap.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody likes a thin spaghetti strap. And I get that. Like, I prefer, I'm also older, but I prefer a little bit more coverage. Or, and I don't like my arms. Again, it's that whole I'm a Midwest girl. I don't like my arms. So, you know, adding a cap sleeve, or I have a lot of brides this past year who still got married in 2020. But they wanted a little bit more coverage for the ceremony. But they wanted to be able to take that off for the reception. Straps are one of the top things that I would say that I do custom work for.
Right.
And when you're doing that, and especially if you're looking at buying a dress at a sample sale and off the rack, one great question to ask if you're looking to do some custom work, like adding a strap, or a lot of dresses have that sheer mesh V in the front that people want closed in or covered up because they don't want to show as much. Ask, can this fabric or this lace still be ordered from the manufacturer? Because I can go, you know, I have limited resources, and sometimes brides bring me or clients bring me dresses and I have a limited time. And if I need to order some lace, right now shipping, as many of you probably have realized or know from personal experience with Amazon or ordering stuff for your wedding, shipping right now is atrocious. And stuff is not coming in real quick and is still backed up. And a lot of my stuff I get is from China. And so it just takes long, and now it's taking extra long. So if we get pushed up to that window of time, and it is hard to pick a lace for me to make sure that it custom matches from a website to your dress, it can be tough. So definitely ask that bridal shop, hey, I want to do this.
Right.
Can I still order this lace? And if the dress is discontinued, that lace may still be available because it's a lace they've used on another gown design or something along those lines. So have that conversation with your bridal shop if you're looking for making custom changes. Ask if fabric can be ordered, and ask if the lace or appliques can still be ordered.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of go along with that, like asking, like, why is this dress off the rack? Is it because it's discontinued? Or is it just a style that, like, not a lot of people are buying, or a lot of people are buying and they want to kind of, like, defer away from it? Mm-hmm. There's so many reasons why a dress could be off the rack. And like Heather said, if you have, like, let's say one of my dresses is discontinued, they could my same designer could make another dress with that lace, so I could still order it even though that dress is discontinued. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's definitely one thing to keep in mind when you are buying off the rack, is sometimes you can't get lace. So if you want to add those long sleeves and you want it to be custom, like, it's not ideal.
And match, exactly.
Yeah, it's not ideal to buy an off the rack dress. It's more because when you order a dress and it's an orderable dress, you can order that exact lace and have it match exactly. So
yeah, and some companies too, depending on the company, some companies sell sleeves or detachable straps. Right. So do ask that as well of the bridal shop. Hey, can I order sleeves with this dress? Or are there sleeves available? Or cap sleeves or detachable sleeves or whatever the case may be. Ask that of the store. A lot of them will be able to tell you or look it up or call the manufacturer themselves and find out for you.
So one question I do have for you is, how difficult is it to properly, is the key word, add straps to a strapless dress, to make not just like it comes down and there's a strap there, but like to have it flow into that dress so it doesn't look added on?
Yeah, great question. So goal of alterations in any case is that your dress looks like you didn't do anything to it. Like, that's how it came. It's perfect and it's flawless and it's made to be you. Whether we're adding a strap or a cap sleeve or anything to the dress, you want it to look like it came that way. So if we're adding a beaded spaghetti strap, we want to make sure that we have beading that kind of matches. And I'm pretty good about being able to do that at this point, is recreating beading styles or designs after 25 plus years of doing this. The other part is, sometimes if we're taking in sides, I can kind of borrow a piece of lace that we've taken off of the side from taking in the side and add it up here. So when we add that strap on, that lace is coming up onto the strap. So it doesn't look like we just stuck a strap on and there it is. So it kind of blends and flows with the dress. So it looks like it was always there.
It's very rarely when you have a dress that isn't strapless that it's just like, it's strapless and then just a strap coming down. Like there's so much more that goes into what Heather does to make it look, like she said, like it was meant to be that way. It was made that way.
Even placement.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
placement on your straps makes a big difference.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that
you don't want it too far in. You don't want it too far out. Otherwise, you can tell it's like a dead giveaway to know that was added after you bought the dress.
And a lot of people look at just the front of the dress.
Yeah.
Look at where your straps lay on the back of your dress. You know, you have a prettier part of your shoulder blade where those straps can come than just coming over this like kind of meaty part right behind your arm. It's kind of like that
elbow pit.
Yeah, elbow
area.
pit. Like, you know, like we all have this like right here, this extra, I don't know, armpit, whatever. You have that on your back as well. So make sure that your straps on your back look nice and are coming at a nice point if you're adding a strap, or even if you have one on there now. There are many dresses that the people come in for their alterations and I adjust and move where their straps go because they're just not laying at a pretty spot. Or they're riding too far out, so they're always falling off the shoulder, especially if they have more rounded shoulders or smaller shoulder base. We can adjust that and make sure that it's laying nice and it looks nice so that you're not losing them all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else we got here?
We have lining a bodice. There's so many dresses right now that are
sheer tops.
Sheer. Yeah.
Oh, you can see the breast cups and everything else is see-through. Some are a little more revealing than not, though.
I agree.
Like some of them have like a tulle that's like ivory or
nude.
He peeked around the corner. That scared the crap out of me.
See, we're in my house. You never know what's gonna happen. We have like 4 people upstairs.
What are
right
you
now.
doing?
We have 4 people upstairs and a dog. Yeah. Are you
Hey,
leaving?
bud.
Bye. My son's leaving for the night. See ya. We're live on Facebook.
We're live on Facebook. Everybody say hi.
You want to pop your head and say hi?
No.
He's a little shy. My little 12-year-old. Bye, buddy. Have a good night. He's going ice fishing this weekend. Good times. I don't ice fish. I don't like worms. I just work on dresses.
I'm like looking at you and like over your shoulder. I'm like, what is that?
Always fun times at my house.
I'm a big believer in ghosts, so
never know what's
like, oh my God.
Never know what's gonna happen in my place. What were we talking about? We're talking about lining a bodice.
Lining a bodice.
Yeah. So we can line a bodice. There are a lot of dresses too that have those sheer bodices that will come with a separate lining that you can add in so you don't have to have just the bra cups there. And sometimes if you're bustier, the bra cups aren't really practical because they don't cover a whole lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You need bigger bra cups. I do have different size bra cups as well, so that's a great thing to kind of look at. The other thing that works really, really great is any more of these long line strapless bras that are seamless and they're nude. So you can wear them underneath your dress and it acts as an immediate lining. So you don't have to put in a separate lining.
Right.
It does it already for you, and it gives you that nice support of that long line strapless bra. And I'm really good too about helping you find a long line strapless bra. Just a quick note, if you're looking to order your long line strapless bra, they don't fit like your regular bras. Long line strapless bra, you want to go up 1 band size from what you usually wear because it has to go over your whole torso. And then you want to go down 1 cup size. So up 1 band size when you're ordering your strapless bra and down 1 cup size for those long line strapless bras. It should fit you pretty well.
Yeah. And Heather can sew those right into the dress too. And so let's say like you want the front lined and you don't want the back lined. Okay. She alters the long line bra and then sews it into the dress.
Yeah, so I cut it apart.
It's a lot cheaper than, it's not that you're cutting corners. It's just a lot more effective and easier to sew that in instead of doing the actual stitch lining, which some dresses are more complicated than others, and you have to do like the actual stitch in lining, like long line bras just isn't practical. But yeah, so.
Yeah, there's all kinds of different ways to navigate having those see-through bodices. But, and it, like I said, changing out cups sometimes is a great way to do it. And two, look at pictures of you in a dress. I know a lot of stores, Shelby's store, you can take pictures. It's fabulous. But there are a lot of stores that don't allow you to take pictures. But ask the people in your wedding party, if you're trying on one of those sheer bodices, like, can you see the cups? Because a lot of times you put those on.
And you can't.
And all you do is see just two big circles. And let's face it, when you're looking at your wedding pictures afterwards, you're going to be like, why didn't somebody tell me? Or why didn't I see this? So
looks like you're wearing a whipped cream bikini.
yeah, it's not a good look. So do kind of look at pictures. If you're able to snap a picture, do look at pictures. And that doesn't include the ones that are put on by the manufacturers, because they may Photoshop or change things.
Yeah.
What is in your bridal catalogs or online is not always exactly what it ends up being in the store, because a lot of those photos were stock photos to get the dresses out, and they may have made design changes in the meantime because of feedback that they've gotten from bridal stores and our customers.
So let's talk about the infamous lowering of the back.
Yeah.
It's a big trend right now.
Low backs are nice. They're beautiful. They're gorgeous. There is a point that a lot of dresses can only be lowered to. It depends on the structure and design and the fabric of the dress. Some dresses, we can lower the back some. Some dresses we can take it all the way down there to the waist. But there is a point that you can only lower it so much without compromising the integrity of your dress, because you still want that front to lay and look nice. And a lot of dresses, they have a higher back because that's how it's designed, so that it lays a certain way in the front.
Right.
So do just kind of ask, and sometimes you can kind of see how it's going to lay by undoing those buttons or that zipper yourself and folding it in. And again,
right.
We can add some appliques or lace, or take pieces of lace and applique off the top if the top has it on and we're making it lower.
A good alternative to that too is, instead of making it that very low back and just your back, having that low back come down, but having that illusion that goes a little bit higher. Like you need something to pull that front fabric back, or else the front is going to look
gappy.
It's not going to look good. So you only want it to go so low before it's like, okay, we need an extra strap there, or we need to add illusion with some, and you can put lace over it. It doesn't have to be like just some random tulle. Heather's great at like meshing that out and making sure it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good alternative to having a low back, is having that illusion, like just partial illusion, like halfway down the back.
Yeah. One thing that Shelby and I were chit-chatting before we started this evening on what she sees in the shop and what I see here when people bring me dresses. And it's something that we chat about quite frequently. But one thing a lot of people come in and they freak out about is it's missing the hook and the loop at the top of the zipper. Okay, it's a hook and a loop. I've seen them come from the manufacturer with the hook and the loop barely stitched on there. It's not a high priority for the manufacturers to put in a good hook and loop. When I do dresses, I always, part of my final process, I always tighten up that hook and loop at the top. If it's missing, I put a new one on. Don't charge you for it. It needs to be there. It's not a big deal. Don't forget about the hook and the loop. It's okay.
Yeah, and the hook and loop is, so when you put the zipper up, there's usually this little hook where one's a female end and one's a male end, and it hooks in so that way that zipper doesn't fall down. That's what she's talking about with the hook and loop. Hook and loop.
The other thing is that all the time beading is coming off, or there's like a little string here or there. Manufacturers they want to get these dresses out to you. They want them out of there. They want to get their order. They want to place the order. They want to fill the order. They want to sell the order. They want to get it out and get it to you, the bride, the customer, the bridal shop. And so there will be times that there are little strings, or maybe the dress is, because you're at your sample sale, there's a bunch of strings and loose beads and things like that. Again, don't worry about that. Not a big deal. The little strings and the missing beads, that's pretty easy for your seamstress or someone to fix and to fill back in. Don't get in a big tizzy about it. It's okay.
But if there's substantial beading,
if you're missing the whole section, that's
different. There's a reason that's off the rack.
It's a different story. Same thing with missing buttons. Like if you have those buttons down the back,
Bridal buttons.
The bridal buttons,
Bridal
the
buttons.
beautiful bridal buttons. Sometimes they're satin, sometimes they're not, sometimes they're
Crepe.
whatever. Yeah, crepe, whatever the dress is. Bridal buttons. So a lot of times, if you're missing buttons, ask the bridal shop, hey, I see that it's missing a couple buttons here or there. Do you have any extra ones? Because chances are they probably do, and they can send you with some, and then I can put them on. I had a case in point this year. One of my very best friends, hi Miss Rebecca, got married, and she was missing quite a few buttons.
Oh yeah, I remember her.
She got her dress from Shelby. Beautiful dress.
Yeah.
Beautiful
And
dress.
she looked amazing in it.
Stunning. And she was missing some buttons, and they were rhinestone flower shaped buttons. And I ordered multiple buttons in to try, and whatever I did, they didn't match. And it was a discontinued dress. Shelby didn't have extra buttons.
Mm-hmm.
So we got creative, and I bought some buttons and ordered some buttons that were just solid rhinestones, and I patterned them so every third one was a flower, and it looked better than the original.
Yeah.
Looked better than the original.
Yeah.
So ask about extra buttons, and sometimes if they're available, they are, and sometimes they're not. And know that on my end of it, sometimes I can find replacement ones that match exactly, and sometimes, unfortunately, I can't. But I always find a way that it looks amazing in the end, and then you come out just glorious and shining on your wedding day.
So what about those loops that the buttons go in?
Yeah, good point.
There's always if you have an illusion back, there's a side that has the buttons and then the side that the buttons go in. So what about those?
Yeah, so sometimes those loops get stretched out. They're just a tiny little elastic band. And sometimes those get stretched out. And if it does, I can tighten that back up. Not a huge ordeal. Sometimes if they're so stretched out or there's so many of them stretched out, I just replace them and I put in new loops, and it's not a big deal. But again, we talk about incurring costs with alterations associated with buying an off the rack dress that maybe has been tried on and well loved.
Yeah.
Or it's just it's been there for a couple of years if it's a in-store sample dress, and it just, those buttons are gone or those loops are stretched out, and sometimes we just need to put a new set of loops on there. So understand that may be a cost associated with those alterations on that discounted dress.
Yeah, just keep in mind that everything we're talking about is the additional add-on of those basic alterations.
Yeah. Other than the hooks and loops, I do those for free.
Let's see here. What about
the crinoline?
Yep, taking crinoline out. So crinoline is the stuff that goes underneath a wedding dress. Some dresses don't have crinoline at all, but it gives it the fullness to kind of skirt out. It's a really rigid, tulle looking thing, but it's thick.
Really what your veil is made out of tulle or netting, but it's super heavy plastic, strong, of that. So that's crinoline, and there is a purpose of it. Purpose of a crinoline under your dress, whether you add an extra one to make it extra full, or you're talking about the one that's built into the dress. The benefit of crinoline is that when you walk, the crinoline pushes the dress out ahead of you, so that the dress doesn't collapse and go between your legs as you're walking down the aisle or for pictures or whatnot. So there's a huge purpose and meaning to crinoline. And I understand that poofy dresses are not for everybody. And sometimes manufacturers have a lot of crinoline under there. And we can take out some layers of that crinoline. Layers that make it the poofiest are the ones that are up around your hip line or your upper legs. The part of the crinoline that really helps with pushing that dress out in front so it doesn't collapse between your legs is that band of crinoline that's at the bottom, closer to your feet. So you'll look, if you lift up all the layers underneath a dress, if you're like, I don't like how poofy this is, a lot of times we can take out that crinoline layer that's up by your hip line to make it less poofy.
Yeah, but still get that nice little skirting out. So that's another thing too with saving money on a hem, is adding a crinoline, because it pushes that dress out so that way it's not dragging on the floor.
Yeah, since the hem is generally the most expensive component of your alterations, and gowns, I'm gonna tell you, gowns are cut for 5'9". So I am 5'4.5". So unless I'm doing this huge platform heel, which A, I'm not very good on my feet, and B, it's a long day, and I'm not gonna want to wear those all day myself personally. And I'm not used to wearing heels anymore. I'm not going to want to wear a heel that high, but if I do a crinoline, it'll bring my dress up. I can do my flatter shoe. It still gives my dress a really beautiful shape. Sometimes that lace is so elegant and gorgeous, you want to show it off a little bit. And know that you can take your crinoline off when you get to the reception. There's nothing that says that you have to wear it all night.
Right.
Wear it for pictures and down the aisle and ditch it. That's all right. I will say I rent crinolines if you're looking to put an extra one under your dress. So you don't have that extra expense of purchasing one. Like, what are you going to do with this crinoline afterwards?
She's amazing.
I just rent them. Just pick it up and return it to me. It works well.
The one thing I do want to say is the one thing to save money also is wearing a higher heel height. If you do not wear heels, your wedding day is not the day to start wearing heels. Like, don't. I know it's like enticing because you want to save the money on him, but your feet are going to be screaming by the time you walk down that aisle.
Yeah. Be smart about your shoe choice. And two, I mean, if you want to have those pretty shoes for the picture, borrow some from a girlfriend who maybe got married, or borrow some from a friend, just that you can put on for those few iconic pictures. Otherwise, there's nothing wrong with your Chucks. I mean, if Kamala Harris can, if that's her shoe choice.
Don't bring politics into this.
It's my 18-year-old daughter's shoe choice, as well as many brides. We've bedazzled them. That's fabulous too. We can bedazzle your shoes.
Okay, what else we got? Don't be pressured to buy. That is one of the biggest key things. And I'm not accusing any stores of doing this, or I don't, because I don't want a bride to feel completely deflated when they wake up the next day and they're like, oh my God, why did I buy this? Just take a deep breath. Don't let a consultant make you feel pressured into buying it, because that's what leads to regret later on.
Or even somebody with you in your
in
your wedding party, or even your own head. If you're like, this is like the 8th shop I've been to. I should have found my dress by now. I haven't. I guess this one is okay. You have to you have to wear it down the aisle and look at all those pictures. Don't settle for your dress.
Because like one of the big things is if it's a sample sale, like, well, this dress could be gone. Well, if it's gone, then it wasn't meant to be. I mean, you can at least ask Heather or whoever you're using for a seamstress, what can and can't be done in alterations and pricing and all that stuff. But yeah, just stand up for yourself. I mean, if you know that it's the dress, buy the dress. But if you're kind of wavering, like, don't let anybody tilt you over that edge of like, okay, I did this because so-and-so said I should. And then now it's a day later and I regret it. So,
yeah. One thing we didn't touch on when we're talking about like loose threads and beading on dresses is if there's a snag in the fabric. And again, a lot of dresses, if you're buying them off the rack, have been in the store or have been samples in a store. And so they've been tried on a fair amount. And there may be some snags in the fabric or small holes in the fabric. Sometimes those holes can be fixed. Sometimes, unfortunately, they can't. But I will tell you that most of the people at your wedding aren't going to be that close to your dress looking and saying, you have a dime-sized hole right there in the middle of your train that's underneath 4 different folds. Chances are they're not going to see it. Or a snag on your dress. Now, some snags can be kind of filtered out and lessened by steaming them or running an iron over them. I wouldn't suggest you try to do that on your own. Don't do that, because then I just have to fix more. But a lot of times your seamstress can steam or press that out.
yeah, she can't fix a big iron mark.
No, I can't fix
on
that.
the dress. That's
No.
Just let Heather do it. just make Heather do it.
Yeah. So I mean, when I do things, people bring me their dress and they bought it off the rack, and that's one thing I ask a lot of times. Did you order your dress or did you buy it off the rack? If someone has bought their dress off the rack, I want to make sure that you're walking down the aisle with that dress looking as perfect and pristine as it can, just as if you would have ordered it from the manufacturer brand new. And that's really important to me. Having been a bridal store owner myself, I've cleaned dresses many times. And so when you bring me a dress that you've purchased off the rack, wherever it may be from, provided I'm able to do it, there are some dresses that right now have all this what is it? It's like
glitter tool.
Glitter net tool underneath. Provided it doesn't have that. Most generally, I can clean the dress for you before you ever wear it. So it smells fabulous, and it's amazing how much it brightens up just from cleaning it. And it works really, really well. But if it has that layer of glitter net, or glitter tool, can't really clean those very well before you wear them.
Right.
The glitter all comes off, and my family isn't too fond of all the glitter everywhere. So.
But yeah, Heather will do that complimentary, so.
I will. I also make sure that any dress I do, mother's dress, bridesmaid's dress, flower girl dress, wedding dress, anything that leaves my shop, my alteration studio, I always press it and steam it and have it aisle ready. So when you pick up your dress from me, the only thing you have to do the day of that wedding is put it on, smile, and have a fabulous time. And I do that as my way of saying thank you for your business. You can take your dress anywhere, and I appreciate that you entrust your dress to me, and so that's one little thing I can do to give back to you to make your day that much easier. The other thing that I do when you bring your dress to me is I will do complimentary consultations. So I had quite a few today with clients. I'll do complimentary consultations. I'll give you pricing. I can give you ranges of prices through pictures or over the phone, but I can't give you exact pricing until I see your dress.
Yeah.
Again, it's like we said, if a seam is clipped, I can't let it out. And I can't tell that from a picture.
Yeah.
Or how many layers something has. But I'm happy to do complimentary consultations and give you pricing for that. And then after that, I'm happy to hold on to your dress until we start alterations or until the wedding. I have girls or clients, I should say, that pick up the day of the wedding sometimes if it works with their schedule and my schedule. And they take it straight to wherever they're getting married and they get dressed. And I do that. I don't charge for storage. Again, it's just my way of saying thank you for your business, that I can help you out.
She's amazing, I told you.
Do my best. I love what I do.
Do you want to pull up the live video on your phone? Because I don't know if I'm going to be able to scroll back through.
Oh, yeah, to answer the questions.
To answer your questions.
Let's see what amazing questions we have today.
I can see, little things, but it's yeah. Getting old,
I'm not so, yeah, hold on. I gotta find it. Oh, here we are.
Are you able to find it?
Yeah.
Cheers.
It's really funny to see yourself live on a Facebook post. It's super funny.
It's whoa.
All right, we have 17 thus far comments. Let's see.
Bear with us, guys.
All right.
Some of them we might.
How far in advance should you have alterations made? Thanks for asking, Caitlin. Great guideline is to have alterations about 3 to 4 months before the wedding. That's when you should start on them. I've started them as far as 4 to 6 months. A great guideline is when you find your dress, or even before you go dress shopping, reach out to a seamstress and be like, hey, I'm getting married at September 2021. Going dress shopping. Would you be available if I had any questions? Absolutely, I'm happy to help. Otherwise, 3 to 4 months is a good guideline. Reach out to your seamstress, though, as soon as you get your dress or your wedding date, at least get on their books. With 2020 the way it was, and so many weddings getting pushed to 2021, I have a sneaky suspicion that seamstresses, and just like all venues, are having a huge influx of clientele and events this year. So get on those books sooner than later, just so that you have a space reserved and so that you and your seamstress can plan ahead for that.
Definitely. Especially if you have those big things that need to be changed, outside of the normal alterations, starting sooner is always
absolutely. Yeah, if we're talking about right now, I have a client that I'm making a custom jacket for. She wants something a little bit more coverage. She loves her dress, but she wants a custom lace jacket to go over it. So we met way early in advance, and I'm working on that jacket now. But we haven't started her alterations for her dress. I've just working on the jacket. So things like that can be done well in advance of even starting your regular alterations. But you need to, reach out to have those conversations and to start that process. Morgan asked, how do you hear about a sample sale? That's a great question, Morgan. I'll defer to Shelby on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of like before I was like in the bridal industry, but I mean, most people hear about them. You can like Google them, or I know Wedding Wear. Like I have my event posted on Wedding Wear. Looking on, I mean, every shop is different because some shops don't post hardly anything except on their main feed. I make sure I post it on Facebook, Instagram pretty regularly, in the events as well, on Google Events, Wedding Wire events. So yeah, there's just a variety of places that you can look for a sample sale. So mine is February 1st through the 28th, but I'm also doing a discount on orderable dresses during that sale as well. So
yeah, I guess the biggest thing is just check bridal shops in your area, check their Facebook page, check their social media, or even give them a call and say, hey, I know a lot of stores in the area are doing this. Are you doing one currently, or are you planning on one? And if so, when will it be? And can you tell me some details? The other thing is ask those bridal shops for these sample sales if you need to make an appointment.
Yeah, Facebook, Vintage Chic, always an appointment. I was like that before COVID. Vintage Chic is 100% by appointment only. I am only down there if I have appointments. So if you don't make an appointment, you could possibly go down there and press on the door and it's a locked door. So make sure you make an appointment.
And I only run off appointment as well. I was just to make sure that I can give you my undivided attention during that time slot. So let's see. We had someone ask about adding boning to the dress to help keep everything in, mainly the tummy area.
Yeah,
that's a good question. A lot of dresses already have boning. They're designed with it, so it gives boning is that heavy, stiff stuff that gives the dress shape.
It's usually in the seams of a dress,
on the front and on the sides.
It's like a rigid, thin piece that'll hold the dress up so it has support. There are dresses that don't have them though.
There are.
And you can add them. I actually just watched, when I told you I was watching Alterations video last night, I was watching this lady do them and it's like, it's so much work. Like what you do, it's so much work. And I could never do it.
It's not the easiest task.
Yeah.
It's not out of the question. What I find a lot of times works a lot better than adding boning to a dress is just getting some really good foundation wear.
Yeah.
Because then you're getting exactly what you need and where you need it with that foundation wear.
Yeah.
And a lot of times too, if you're adding just boning, just like right here through the tummy area, that boning is going to stop at some point because it can't go all the way down to your knees. And so what happens then is that boning stops and it kind of
puckers,
pushes everything out where you had hoped it would hold everything in. And depending on the style of the dress, it may not go down all the way over the tummy area that boning is feasible there. And then if you think about it, you have the stiff boning that you want to put past the tummy area. But now you've restricted the ability to sit.
Yeah.
Or bend easily. And so now you feel like you're in a straitjacket and you can't breathe and it's not as comfortable. So adding boning to dresses sometimes is an okay thing to do. But most generally, if you're looking for that tummy control or to give you a little bit more seamless look, I would look at some great foundation wear. It's available a lot of places between lingerie stores, Kohl's, online, Amazon, all those places. So just look for some good foundation wear and try that with your dress. And be aware when you're buying foundation wear, how far up
is that back?
Is that back on your dress? Yeah. Is the waistline?
The lower the back, the less stuff you can wear underneath.
Yeah, less foundation wear, that'll work. This is a great question. Oh, Valerie, we love working with you too.
Is that Valerie stuff?
Yeah, I get to see you.
We were just talking about you.
Get to see you next week. Is there a best time of year to buy a dress? That's from Sam.
No. I mean, I could think a good thing to address kind of that goes along with that question is like, is it ever too early to buy a dress? No. It depends on the personality of the bride. But I mean, okay, so a lot of the times brides are like, I don't want to buy too far out because there's new styles that'll come in. But if you take that on the other end of that, if you buy closer to the date, there could have been dresses discontinued when you were first going to look, and now you can't buy them. So either way, whether you shop earlier or later, you're still missing out on dresses. So if you have the budget and you have your family together and everything is the way it should be, then buy the dress. I mean, it's not as complicated as you think, because dresses get discontinued all the time.
They do, and sometimes they don't tell you.
Yeah, it's literally like we get a list and it's discontinued and we can't take any orders on it, and there's nothing we can do to take orders on it. So,
I guess a good time of year to buy a dress would be like sample sales and times like this, and like Shelby said, like she's having a sample sale, but even her orderable dresses are
they're 10% off.
So it's a good time of year right now to buy. Bridal stores generally go to market in the fall and then in the spring, and so market just happened in October, and so right now a lot of stores are getting in their new samples. So there's a lot of that's partly what is prompting these sample sales is they're trying to make room for all their new stuff coming in. So it is a good time in the fall and the spring to look for dresses, because again, they're getting new samples in and they're trying to get rid of some of their other on the floor samples.
And there's also like so when I first started out and I was doing, when I first started out, I was off the rack only. I only got dresses from other bridal shops across the United States. And then I sold them and it was on a consignment basis. But now that I have the orderable line and I've built that collection up for so long, like my sample sale is also a last dance sale. So there are like 30 to 40 dresses that after February 28th, they won't be in the store anymore. And that's not me trying to be like, oh, you need to buy now. Like I will be sending them back to the shops and they will no longer be available for sale. So.
Yeah, so Mariah asked that question. She said, I saw you post something about some of the off the rack dresses not coming back to your shop. Are there some that are staying?
There are.
And if so, will you be posting which ones?
Yeah, I can kind of separate them out into two things. Like the last couple of days I've posted ones that are going to be leaving the shop. And I think there's like 3 dresses in the past couple of days that I've posted that are leaving the shop once February is done. So I can kind of pigeonhole that a little better when I go back to Facebook tomorrow or the next day. It's a busy weekend, so that might not be until like Monday, but it's plenty of time because the sale is the whole month of February. So if
anything, just reach out to Shelby and ask. She's great about answering questions. So if there's a dress that you're like, oh, I love this dress, but my timeline or whatnot, or maybe you don't have the ring yet, maybe you know what's coming, Valentine's Day is around the corner.
My anniversary is Valentine's Day.
Oh, mine's February 20. The whole month of February. Let's call the whole month of February. I got engaged on Leap Day, so I only get to celebrate my engagement once every 4 years. But little does he know, because it's the 29th, the years that the 29th of February doesn't happen, I'm going to celebrate the day before and the day after. So I got her on that one. Let's see here. We have Marie asked, how long do bridal appointments normally last?
So when you book a bridal appointment, I block off an hour and a half, but it's basically an hour for the bridal appointment. Because I figure in for that half hour in between appointments, I figure like paperwork if you end up buying a dress, and then we can take the photos and do all the things, and then that way if somebody does show up for the next appointment early, I still have that 15-minute buffer. So it's typically an hour long.
I would say most of my bridal appointments take about 30 minutes, but I do block out an hour. And for me, I block out that time so that I can also sanitize and put stuff away and with the whole COVID thing to be safe. let's see here. We have, what's the other Haley Page dress you have?
Oh, the other Haley Page dress. I need to get her on a mannequin and take a picture. She's kind of like a similar skirt to the other Haley Page dress. It has like a tiered, but it's more even instead of like the one that I posted. It's kind of like on one side. It's more evenly tiered, and it's a tulle, like a thicker tulle instead of, God, what?
Organza?
Yeah, it's not organza. It's more of a tulle, and then it has a higher neck and a really pretty back. So I will take a picture of those next week. But yeah, she's gorgeous, and they're both going to be under $1,000. Like, I'm surprised I haven't sold those dresses already. But
do you know what sizes those are?
They're both bridal size 10s.
So that's street size
6.
Yeah.
So.
We have a follow-up to, I'm assuming, how long do bridal appointments usually last, and what to expect normally. So to get the best experience out of a bridal appointment when you're going to buy your dress or look at dresses, really important to plan ahead of time at home before you ever get to the store. Part of that is calling to make your appointment.
Right.
Looking through dresses or styles to get an idea of maybe what you're drawn to.
Vintage Chic has a very large selection of my off-the-rack and orderable dresses on Pinterest. So you can pin them right to your board and then send them to me if you'd like. So
perfect. That's a win right there. Part of that too, like getting ready to go. So you've pinned your dresses. You have an idea what you want. You've communicated that to the stores you're going to. You have your appointment set. You have your entourage that's going with you, or maybe you're just going by yourself. I went by myself, and I went with an entourage, and my entourage was my very best friends and my 2 daughters. I did better by myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes too many cooks in the kitchen. Like, I was getting overwhelmed by everybody's opinion because everybody's opinion was different. Yeah. And that didn't work for me. So know too what works for you and in your comfort level.
Yeah.
The other thing is throw some curls in your hair.
Yeah.
Throw a little makeup on. Wear some nude colored undergarments. If you have a strapless bra, throw it on and wear it for the day. It'll make looking at those dresses a little bit easier, you know. Otherwise,
don't wear like a red or a purple like bra, because it's like,
or a sports bra,
or a sports bra.
Yeah, throw on a real bra, because even if you maybe don't have a strapless bra and you have a regular nude bra, throw that on, because you can always tuck those straps down.
Yeah,
it'll give you the best idea of what that dress will look like.
Yeah,
sports bras, they just don't do anything for the fit or style of the dress when you're trying.
And unless you're super busty, a lot of brides go braless, because you get the best idea of how it's going to look. If you're super busty, you need to wear a bra. But for those that do not, I mean, I was a nurse before this, and I've seen plenty of boobs, so it's not like, it's nothing I haven't seen before.
This is all I do all day, every day.
Yeah.
It doesn't even faze us. And then be on time to your appointment.
Yeah, be on time.
Please be on time. And respectful of everybody's time. Your time is important just as much as ours is. Anything else for bridal appointments that you can think of?
Not to prepare, I think.
Have an idea of your budget.
Have it in your mind that you could possibly find your dress at that appointment. It behooves you none to go in and say, well, I'm just going to look. I'm not here to buy today. Because you could find it, and then you're like, oh, crap. Like,
now what?
Now what? Bring the people you need to have that moment. Like this, it's a big moment. It's a big life moment. Mm-hmm. It's an emotional experience. So when you do find your dress, you want the people to be there that you feel are necessary to be there. Yeah. You don't want to do it. It would happen more often than you think. I have brides come in by themselves. They love it. I mean, I've had like 3 in the past month. Mm-hmm. And they bought a dress, and they were fine with it just being them. Because at the end of the day, it just matters what you think. It's not about, even if mom's paying for it, it's not about what mom thinks or your mother-in-law or a sister. It's what you think. So
what you envision yourself walking down the aisle.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you come for your alteration appointment, You'll want to have, before you come see me, and I'm very good about expressing this when I talk to you on the phone, you want to have your shoes that you plan on wearing the wedding day, the undergarments you plan on wearing on the wedding day, whether it's bra or Spanx or foundation wear or whatever you're wearing under the dress that would affect the fit of the dress. You want to have those things when you come to your fitting appointment. Veils, jewelry, if you want to try those on, that's great, but it doesn't affect the fit of the dress.
To interrupt there, she brought up jewelry. If there is jewelry that you're going to be wearing that day, like if it's a grandma's necklace or whatever, bring that to your appointment. Because some dresses don't look good with a certain necklace, and yeah. So
if your heart's set on wearing something, bring it with you.
Bring it with you.
Yeah. And have an open mind when you're trying on.
Yeah.
Because you may have this vision of, this is what I want to wear. And so many times this week, I think every bride I've met with this week and last week have said, I didn't buy what I thought I was going to buy. And me, I'm not wearing what I thought I would wear either. It's just, things change. You put stuff on and you realize that something you like better or looks better, or all of a sudden have this vision and you see yourself in it, and that's how it is.
The other thing to expect for an appointment is not everybody cries. It's like, I'd say 30% of people cry, and it's not a necessary thing. It's not like you have to cry or it's not the dress. You just feel, and I can usually spot it, whether it's the first time trying on or when we retry on dresses. I can see it in the bride's eye where it's like, yep, this is it. And even if you don't realize it, I realize it, and then I kind of help you along. But
when you know, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see. We have... What are sample sizes usually? There's no standard sample size, unfortunately.
Different shop. It's going to be different for every shop. Like, my samples are normally, like, for my orderable collection, I have some 12s, some 14s, but most of them are 16, and then I have 24s and 22s and 28s. It's a lot easier to clamp down. Like, I know that smaller girls sometimes are like, well, you don't have anything that's like around my size. Well, it's a lot easier to clamp down, and I can give you a really good idea. Clipping is the biggest thing. Like, you need to have somebody that knows how to clip you into a dress, because clipping makes all the difference.
So that you can have an idea of what it's going to look like. Yeah. But there's unfortunately not a standard sample size. But you know, if there's a sample that's orderable and it's in a smaller size, try it on.
Right.
Because you can order it in your size, so it doesn't matter. When you're at a sample sale, you are a little bit more limited on the sizes that you're trying on if you're talking about buying an off the rack dress.
Yeah. And definitely ask that, even if for just general appointments, ask that, especially if you're a plus size bride. Do you have, like, how many dresses do you have that are, you know, if you're a jean size 20, how many dresses do you have in a size 24? So that way you're not going in there and just, like, disappointed.
That you maybe only have 2 to try on.
Yeah. Where, I mean, I have over 30 dresses that are a size 20 or higher. I think I have even closer to 40 now, so.
Are overskirts available?
I'm working on it.
Yeah, and I've had some people ask me if I can make a skirt to go over a dress. Again, it's that, does the cost and the expense of custom making something like that equal out to, should I have just looked a little bit more and found a dress that fit exactly what you're looking for? You know, I would say most things can be done for the right price.
Yeah.
I don't know if my right price, however, fits within your budget and is your right price. Just keep that in mind. It's a skilled labor trade, and it doesn't happen quickly or easily at times. I'm 5'2". Should I look more into petite sizes to save money? That's from Corey. I mean, there are some dresses, not all. There are some designers that offer a petite cut, which is only 3 inches shorter.
Which, that's a common misconception. Petite doesn't mean smaller size. Petite means shorter length.
That's it. You get 3 inches shorter. So, and the gowns are cut for 5'9". So you're talking about 3 inches shorter. It's only making it for 5'6". Now, 5'6" doesn't mean necessarily barefoot, unless you're going barefoot or with no heel. 5'6" with a heel or with your shoe. So do keep that in mind. 5'9", complete total size.
Yeah.
So do keep that in mind. What's an average price for normal alterations? Say the dress is perfect, but I'm short. I may need it taken in just a little bit. Yeah, a good it's hard to say because every dress differs. I mean, I've had a wedding dress. She needs to take her sides in, and it's $30 because it's
just plain.
It's just plain.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. There's no boning. That's just
no lace.
No lace. Just a simple, easy dress. $40 taken sides. Now, on the other hand, I've had some dresses where I have to sit there and pick off all the lace and then take in the dress and then put that lace back down and hand sew all that lace back on and or replace beading. So that's going to cost you a little bit more. So it's really hard to say exactly taking in sides is X number of dollars.
Right.
That's where having those complimentary consults or sending me a picture asking for a price range, I'm able to do a little bit more. I would say, and it's going to be a big price range, I'd say most dresses are $40 to $80 to take in sides. Total. That's not per side.
Charge per side.
I mean, that's total, and that's just it. That's it. I know that's a big range, and I apologize, but there's so many different components that go into determining the price on taking in sides on a dress, or even taking up straps and the hem for that matter.
The hem is the biggest thing you'll spend. And Heather's not jipping you on price. Like, this is like hand done work. I mean, it's magic. Like, if you tried to do it yourself, you would want to pull your hair out.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that I can say is, I know weddings can be spendy. I mean, that's just how it is. And truly do my very best work. I mean, that's all I can really say. If I lowered my prices so that I could get them done faster, what would happen is that I would have to make up that deficit. And I don't feel like that's fair, to do a slip shop job on your dress just to make it cheaper. That's not how I operate.
You get what you're paying for.
You do.
It's the same thing for wedding photographers. It's the same thing for wedding dresses. You get what you pay for.
Yeah. And I take a lot of pride in my work. And when I'm sending it out of here, I know that it's something I would have been happy wearing down the aisle and looking at in pictures forever. I take a lot of pride in it, and I love what I do, and I love working with all my clients, and it's a great thing. It's a great thing. I appreciate you entrusting your dress to me and to such a big day. Yeah.
Are we good on questions?
We are good on questions thus far. Great. If you have questions that, maybe, I'm sorry, there's someone else. Someone said their ears needs to be taken in and shortened, but they didn't know if they were normal or extra. I would say those are pretty standard alterations. Yeah. And I don't really know any places right now that include alterations. So unless the place specifically says it's included, alterations generally are additional and generally need to be done outside of the bridal shop. I think there might be one, maybe two places in the immediate tri-state area that does alterations in-house, but they're not included with the price of your dress.
Yeah,
they're
it's
additional.
A totally separate cost.
Yeah, so do budget plan for that.
Yeah.
And that's where reaching out to your seamstress ahead of time will allow you to have that contact. So when you're looking at your dresses during those sample sales, or anytime you're with your consultant, that they can be a resource for you to get exactly what you want, what you need.
All right.
If you're watching this and it's not live, still feel free to post some comments or shoot Shelby a message at Vintage Chic Bridal, or myself, Heather Schuster, at The Threaded Needle. We're happy to help you out any way that we can, and we look forward to weddings in 2021 and beyond. And it's going to be a great next couple of years.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for watching, everybody. Be safe, have fun, and happy wedding planning.
Bye, guys. I gotta be able to turn it off. Where's that?